guys, how's it going? Today we are going to work on removing the wisteria vine that we have near the chicken coop. It's massive and it's trying to take over everything, so we are going to get rid of it today. We're also going to be planting up a couple of beautiful containers. I'm going to be putting these in sort of a part shade, little tiny bit of sun sort of area. We've got these gorgeous Let's Dance Blue Jangles hydrangeas, which we normally don't plant macrophylla hydrangeas because our soil is so high pH. They just don't tend to love it. So I think having them in a container will be nice. And then I brought a few things up here to put around them. We've got some of the Hippo Rose polka dot plant right here. Look how pretty that is. We've also got some Laguna Lilac Lobelia. And then this is a brand new sweet potato vine for next year, 2026. This is the Sweet Caroline Medusa Black. Isn't that pretty? I kind of love the contrast right there. I'm looking forward to this project, but before we start any of our jobs for the day, I did want to run you by the pond and Dreamstream area because it is looking so good, and it's kind of earlier in the morning, and it's always kind of a pretty time of day. Quick interruption before we take a look at the pond. There are a couple of details I wanted to mention. First off, in yesterday's video, I did a pond update and I showed the big tilapia being released. What I didn't realize is the timing of everything. I actually filmed that video a couple of days before we took off and went out of town for a few days for a family vacation. I wanted to sort of get ahead so we didn't have to skip days of posting for you guys. And then I filmed today's video the day after we got home, which meant there were several days, almost a week between when I did yesterday's pond update and today's pond update. Also, Paul did spend some time in the pond removing string algae, as well as our whole family. We get in there from time to time and remove. We've showed you when we removed string algae. Paul did it. So anyway, that's been kind of going on throughout the whole spring though. So the only difference is the addition of the tilapia, and I've just been amazed by the results. Anyway, I just wanted to mention those couple of things because we don't normally do an update 2 days in a row. But there was that time discrepancy because we were able to head out of town for a few days, which was lovely. I loved it. Anyway, back to the video. Look at this. Look at how gorgeous. When the light's just starting to enter the area and the space has been mulched for the most part, the pathway still isn't 100% done. So we didn't mulch right up to the stones, and you can see a bag of the paver sand. I think we're gonna finish that up on Saturday, so the pathway will be completely done. But boy, when you add mulch to an area and add tilapia to your pond, it just cleans everything right up. Just want to show you the front of the berms here before we head in and look at the water. We've got some perennials that are just really beautiful right now. These are the Rose Rhinestones Penstemon. And then this is a variety of Coreopsis. I can't remember which one it is, but we planted it right after the Dreamstream project. It looks gorgeous with the blue salvia. Look in there, you can just see so many beautiful things. Oh, and then the front of the berm over here. Everything has adjusted really nicely. We always have kind of a moment, or like a week or two, where especially salvias, they can be a little bit touchy for water in the very beginning, in that they just need a little bit extra until they root in. But I think we're getting past that, and now they're just kind of living off of the drip system, which is what we want. Also, the chatalpa. We just planted this chatalpa. Oh my goodness, look at this. Already blooming. Already smelling wonderful. Look at how gorgeous these blooms are. Ugh. Okay, let's check out the water. So we can start right down here on this end. Boy, all the grasses and everything. Look at this, it's just filling in beautifully. The plumbago looks gorgeous, but I cannot believe what we're seeing here. I mean, there's a little bit of green fuzz. We'll be able to see a little bit more. It's a little bit lighter up toward the top there. But before, you know, we had billows of string algae in here. And now we're getting to a point where we're gonna probably start needing to feed the fish because they're taking care of the food source so quickly. And I don't know, you can kind of see all the tilapia, the big ones, right down in here. Can you see them all in there? It's kind of, reflection's a little weird right now, but they're in there. Look at the waterfall and everything behind them, my goodness. I just could not be more pleased. So we added the little tilapia, about a dozen of them or so, and then about a week or two later, we added the 24 big ones. And ever since the big ones have been in here, it's just been like night and day difference. Like right through here, it was completely green. Russell, what are you doing? He's eating the grass over there. But yeah, like right in this more shallow area where you can see like kind of toward the plants, the water doesn't move quite as quickly. So it was just like solid green mass in here. And now you can see rocks. And I expect it'll just keep getting better and better. Look in here. These are all hardy water lilies that came back from last year. There's a couple of the koi up here. But isn't that awesome? I mean, look at this view down this way. Oh my gosh. So the fish can get all the way up to the first waterfall, and you'll notice a huge difference from where the fish can get to versus where they can't. But things are looking a little bit more algae right in here. I see the koi in this little section, but I've not yet seen a tilapia in this section, so that could be why. Not that I'm out here all day looking at the fish, but I don't know, every time I come out here, I have never seen one up there yet. But look at the difference. So up here in this more shallow sort of area, we've got quite a lot more string algae. So we'll come in here and kind of skim all of this stuff off. We'll also take a hose with a jet spray and kind of just clean off what we can, which is helpful. And all that stuff, all the debris kind of just moves down the length of the pond, either for the fish to eat or down to the skimmer box. I just love how this area is shaping up. I love looking back through here and seeing some trees. The trampoline is there in its hole. And the mulch line, you can see it just stops right here because we've got a lot yet to do in here. And we've got a pathway that's going to be put in, a stone pathway that matches the ones up front. So, you know, you don't want to get too far in with your mulch and get it all messed up. But I'm sort of waiting for that to be done, the pathways, in order to know where I want to plant big things. I mean, minus these 2 evergreens that we put back here, because I think I planted those far enough away from a pathway that it'll be okay. But I sort of want the pathways there so I can then, I don't know, visualize it better. But we'll walk down this side here. Oh, another Chautauqua's blooming. I also cut back all the echinacea we moved, and they're already sprouting new leaves. There's the Chautauqua. We've got a lone allium. I don't know how it made it back here, but it did. Yeah, you can see all those echinacea right. Oh, it's not a lone allium. There was one right in front too. Well, there you go. The echinacea will be beautiful right in here. Anyway, I just wanted to show you what this space is looking like now and how wonderfully the tilapia have worked out. Also, this Nemesia, it's the Aramance Pink, I think is what the name is. It perfumes this entire area. Like when you drive by on a golf cart or whatever, I can just smell it. It's just amazing. Oh, it's so pretty. And I love that I can turn around and see a flower bed starting to form up. Now, one of our trees, you see this one right here, it got completely mangled in our windstorm. The leaders on both of these were green. I mean, they had a lot of new wood on top and they were really tender. And 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts, 40 to 45 mile an hour sustained for 24 hours. That was a lot for these trees. So they've got some crispy leaves. It snapped the leader off of this tree, so we're gonna have to establish a new one, which is a bummer, especially right after we got it planted. But I love seeing something going in this area. I love seeing, even though the brick border is just loosely based on what it will be, it's fun just to see some definition over here. And the brick border that you see here will be repeated along the whole edge of the driveway like it is on the other side. So it'll kind of just clean up this whole area, make it look kind of sharp. And it will also keep the gravel out of the mulch and the mulch out of the gravel, which is always a frustrating thing if you like to have a nice clean line. Okay, let's take a look at this wisteria. All right, standing back so you can kind of see the whole space here. We've got the avalanche birch tree right here, which the wisteria tries to scramble up the branches and it just kind of chokes it out. And if we move this direction, it's just this mass. And it's only bloomed 1 time. I don't know why that is. I treat it the same all the time, other than every once in a while I'll come and like pull the branches out of the tree and cut those off. But you know, everything else, I just don't understand what is going on with it. And it doesn't really fit this space anymore. It just kind of overtakes, and it's not in keeping with, I think, what this area should become. So you can see from this area, the parterre over there. And it's a beautiful green wall. I mean, I'll give it that for sure. It does create a nice, I don't know, look right now. Except what I think we need to do is take it down, take the arbor out, kind of clean up this area. And I do want to get some kind of an evergreen in here, because in the wintertime, all of this goes away. There's no evergreen in this space other than our boxwood hedge that we've started in with. So I think it would be nice to have something here that can be beautiful in the winter. And here's a look from the east side. We've got a Winecraft black smoke bush. You can see the top of the birch tree there. So I don't know, I think it'll just lighten the load in this area, open it up for possibilities. I don't intend on doing anything other than removing this stuff today and then just looking at it for a little while. That way we won't make a hasty plant decision, which I've been known to do from time to time. So you guys, I've got my pruners and my loppers, and I'm just gonna take after this thing and unearth this area. Here we go. All right, guys, it took about an hour, but the wisteria is gone. The pallet walkway is gone. I went inside for just a brief second to get a drink, and I came back out, and it was like there was a weight lifted off of this area. I always find that helpful after you make a change, just to leave the area for a minute and kind of remove yourself, and then come back in and see what it feels like. And it feels good. Look at this. Oh, I love the view being opened up a little more. And I know I'm planning on putting an evergreen in, but it's not going to be one that gets as wide as that wisteria did. I don't think, and I think it's going to be over to the left a little bit more. In fact, the smoke bush, I'll explain it when I go over there. Smoke bush might have to be relocated or sized down a little bit. But the little statue that I had underneath the arbor, I just shifted over here. And I had one of those pre-planted bowls of succulents you can buy. See that? It's like already in a plastic bowl. And it happens to be just about the same size as this container. So I just slipped it down in there for now. This is a really hard one to run drip tube because there's no way to get the drip tube up through the bottom. So you'd have to run a tube visibly where you could see it. So putting succulents in this, I think, will be perfect. It might not even get enough light. I'm going to be monitoring this area and watching it throughout the day just to see how much light this area, like especially, gets, because I've got some beautiful oak leaf hydrangeas. That would be a beautiful look right through here. Look at that, my goodness. You can see the trunk. We're still gonna need to treat that with some stump killer. You can see the Zephrine rose now. It just opened this area up big time. I do have a hole where I need to replace a boxwood. And as far as an evergreen goes, I think I wanna put one like kind of right in here, sort of off the corner of the coop. And the smoke bush actually originates, the trunk is way over here to the left. And it just is growing this way because it was pushed over by the wisteria and it was searching for light. So if I cut that thing off at the base and did a rejuvenation prune, it would come back better, in a better shape around where the trunk originates. And it would leave a little bit more room for more of a vertical evergreen. And it can't be anything that gets way too wide anyway because we've got trees going on here. So it can't be something that's gonna compete. And now that the wisteria is gone and the pathway's gone, it just, I don't know, it feels good. It feels like this is one big area. There's no reason to have a pathway through here, honestly, because you can get around this side of the chicken coop, or if we swing here to the left, try to go slow, you can go, this way, right through here. So there's no reason really to have something that cuts through here. Plus I'd have to take out that crabapple, the lamb's ear, to make room for the walkway to go anywhere. And I so loved the pallet walkway when it was here. It fit beautifully when we initially put it in. In fact, how many years ago is that? Maybe we can put that number on the screen. But those boards, those pallet boards, they lasted that long and they're still fully intact. I remember a lot of people, and probably those of you from a more wet climate, they would not survive as long. So I remember there being lots of comments about how quickly they would rot. Look at this. Like as dry as can be. And I've got a pile of them over here. It was taking too long to get the little pins out. So I thought, well, I'll just set up right here and do it later. When it's hot out, I can just work under the shade of this tree and I can get the pins out. So that's the nice thing about these too. Like this was the only cost in the pallet walkway project. I spent like $75 to buy all of these plastic they're like nails, but I knew when I bought them that they are reusable, and I do intend on putting a pallet walkway back in somewhere because I think they're charming. I think they serve a beautiful purpose here. I mean, because they don't rot. We don't have termite issues. We don't have any issues. I mean, they're great. In fact, they kind of like swelled so much around the pins that's why I'm having a hard time getting them out. And there's our arbor, so now we can use that somewhere else as soon as I take the time to, again, I left this out here so I could just work on chipping away at these pieces of wood. They were real hard to get off because look at that. They were growing around the metal of the arbor. I mean, it was just like starting to encompass the metal. And I can get them off, I just have to take them off a little piece at a time. So I will work on that in the pallet boards later. Maybe the kids will probably want to get in on the pin removal. Oh, but I just love it. I think it's so nice. Look at that. My goodness. And Paul and Luke brought over these containers from in front of the red barn. And this is where I want to plant the containers for now. I removed 2 bricks from our little swoop here and placed each container in front of the first boxwood. They would have necked down the opening too much to put them, on the inside. But I think they'll look absolutely gorgeous here with all these beautiful plants. do need to cut a branch or two of this ash tree though. It's getting kind of low. Like I'm 5'4" and this is where the ash tree is right now. That's no good. Also, while I was out here, I took after the lilac and redbud. So I went through here and just cut branches off that were way too low and cut branches off. In fact, I should shave these a little bit, but look at this area. This is what happens when I get the loppers out. So there was a big branch that was way down, almost touching the coffee table right there. And so you can't use the chairs or anything in this area, which I need to get new cushions so bad. Oh my goodness. I think most of these look like this on the bottom. We've gotten years out of these, and what we did every year is we just rotate the tear to where you can't see it. And so that's how I handle my chair cushions, because we have so much outdoor furniture. It would cost a fortune to replace all of the cushions every single year. So anyway, we just have done that, but I think this year is the year to replace those. Anyway, kind of nice when you get the tools out just to work on the whole area. So I think I'll prune up a couple of those ash tree branches. I need to go unload. We'll get our pots done. Look at these containers. They are so beautiful. Look at that rich color mix down below. I still need to water these in and clean off the edge of the container, but they're all tapped into the drip system. Look at this one. Oh, you can see that they're already trying to turn a little bit more pink. This one's got more blue in it than this one. Look at that. Already turning more pinkish. Macrophylla and serrata type hydrangeas are the type that will shift color based on your soil pH. And because we're so high pH, and so is our water, that even though these are in containers that they're shipped to us in for a couple weeks until I, was ready to plant them, they're getting our water as we're keeping them alive for those 2 weeks. And just that amount of water will start shifting the pH. So I might throw in some soil acidifier, but honestly, I don't even mind if they're pink. I think they're gonna be beautiful either way. Do you like it?
Yeah, I like the flowers in here.
Which is your favorite one?
I kind of just like
wearing Benjamin shoes today.
I kind of just like all of them.
You like all of them together? I kind of do too.
Hey, Mama. I put some of these here.
Oh, nice. Are you finding like the little birch catkins on the ground? Can you show me what you use?
They're these.
Oh, and then you decorate the bricks. Cool.
Yeah, with
it's
those.
Like glitter, birch glitter.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I just like playing with those.
So we have a drip line that goes along the boxwoods, and I dug it out a little bit and tapped into the drip line and brought a drip tube up into the container. And we've got 1/4 inch running in here, and I ran it with 11 emitters, which is quite a lot, but we always like to start with a longer run, and we can always clip it shorter, clip a couple emitters out. But because I've got hydrangeas and sweet potato vine and honestly lobelia, all of those things utilize a lot of water, and this zone only goes off every other day. So I'm hopeful that if we kind of deluge it one day, it can go the off day without any supplemental water. I could have put an Aquapot mini insert in here, I didn't think about that until just right now. That might have helped us get by the, I don't know. The 11 drip emitters might be just enough, but I just think they are gorgeous right here. And they're gonna be something that I have to monitor just like this area for light, because I feel like the morning sun comes this way, but it might be just far enough this way underneath the birch canopy that it might be filtered, or it might be full. And we've kind of been going in and out of cloud cover today, so it's hard to tell. And then I feel like this one's gonna get some midday sun possibly, but protection in the afternoon. So anyway, I'm just gonna monitor these, make sure that they're happy. You'll also notice that we took after the ash tree so you can actually walk under it. Aaron happened by while I was getting ready to do that project, which was nice because there's no way I would have attempted that huge branch by myself. So that was perfect timing. So we'll need to clean that up. But I just love it when we've got all the canopies lifted and you can kind of see underneath them. It just, oh, yeah, weight lifted. But I do need to make a fresh cut on that wisteria stump and apply the stump and vine killer, which this is what we used on the stumps of all the sumacs, the tiger eye sumacs that we took out last year. And I thought, okay, well, we're gonna treat the trunk. It might not sprout from the trunk, but we'll probably still get suckers because they were suckering everywhere. And we haven't seen a single sucker. So I don't know about this. I mean, like travels through the plant and kills it all. But I want to do that with this wisteria. It suckers a little bit, not too bad, but I want to make sure that it's not going to pop up where we don't want it. Okie dokie, here we are. Wish I had it with me when I made my initial cut, but that's okay. And this stuff is easy to apply. You just brush it on. I just like to make sure it's saturated. All right, that's done. I also brought a boxwood up to replace the one that died right there. Just taking care of little odds and ends, but I did bring up some annuals that I really want to get in the ground that are beautiful. I wasn't sure if we were gonna have time, but we do. Look at this blend, oh my gosh. Marshmallow Bidens, Peachy Keen Superbena, and Safari Sky, James Britannia. This is actually why we have time. Because I still have all of this to do later. Oh well, I want to do the fun stuff right now. Quick note about the stump and vine killer. This is not for suckers. There is a specific product if you're dealing with suckers around the base of a tree that you can apply. Maybe we can pop a picture of it up on the screen. Very important not to use this on suckers though if you want to maintain or keep the original tree. This is to get rid of something that's invasive like this wisteria or the sumac. And somebody said in our last recap that it's listed on the label, and I'll have to read it, for broadleaf weeds like bindweed, which we deal with a lot. I don't know how you would apply it. I don't know if you just like paint the base leaves or something. Anyway, this is not for suckers. Just wanted to put that out there. Okay, we've got to plant this before we go out and do the fun pretties. Hey chicken, did you just lay an egg? Boxwood replaced, looks much better. Okay, let's go plant these annuals. This is looking pretty. So as you're out here in the flower bed and you walk in, oh, look at that. So I lined the front of the walkway with the James Britannia because it is the shortest one of all three, and then backed it with groupings of the Peachy Keen Superbina and the Marshmallow Bidens. So I did groupings of 10 of the Bidens. So there's 1, 2, 3 groups of 10. And then the Superbina kind of goes in groups, but it goes between and kind of toward the back area as well. Isn't that pretty? I love it because I didn't really have a plan for this area exactly. And I still have plenty of room to work on shrubs and perennials and things like that. And I don't want to do anything too permanent, at least from about where the pathway bends, because we're going to take the pathway up about right here and we're going to redirect just a little bit so that this pathway will match this one. I know that seems fussy, but in the long run, I think we'll be happier if everything kind of flows nicely and it's not like a, you know, you missed it by that much. So we're going to move the apple tree arbor over just a bit and the rocks over a bit, which means I don't really want to plant anything right up next to the rocks for a bit, but this area is just so fun. And I love all the soft colors. I did have to find a spot where I wasn't going to see a whole lot of cool pink in the background with this Peachy Keen Superbina because it's such a warm corally, almost kind of an orangey pink look, and I didn't want it right up next to like bubblegum, which is over here. When you see this, you're gonna really just notice the Rise Up Amber Nest roses, the Nepeta. I mean, you can see little hints of pink over there, but it's not right up next to it, so it's not a jarring sort of combination. And none of these are huge, huge water users. Once they're rooted in, at least, especially the James Britannia, it wants to be on the dry side. So when we do run drip to this area, we'll probably run it right like closer to the second layer of plants. What we usually do is run one line, maybe like right in front of these plants, and then another line in front of the next row, and so on and so forth. But in this case, we will most likely just run one sort of in between so that it's largely feeding the Superbina, and then the James Britannia can just use what it needs. This area is incredibly hard pan as well. We've struggled in the bed right next to it, and I did notice that half of the bed, like I could smell the drill heating up. Easy digging right here, hard digging over here. And we've struggled in this area. We have creeping Veronica, which is not supposed to look like browned out like it is. It is recovering because we did take a lot of the drip out, but it just yellowed up and kind of browned. And you can see all the new growth though, looking really nice and fresh. So I'm thankful that we were able to rectify the situation before it got worse. We've got Invincible Sublime Hydrangeas in here, which I think it's going to be a beautiful look, but sometimes you just run into those issues where you've got to keep adjusting till you find the right balance, which I feel like is going to be the same case right here. And I'd honestly rather get it dialed in on annuals rather than plants that are permanent that I don't want to harm with too much water or too little water or whatever. So anyway, guys, that is going to be it for today's projects. Removal of the wisteria, check that one off the list. Replacement of boxwood, planted up those beautiful hydrangeas, and got this huge drift of annuals in the ground. And I don't have a tremendous amount of annuals left to plant. Usually I'm going till like maybe like second, third week of June. So we've got a little bit more, but we're kind of honing in on the end of it, but we've filled in a lot of spots and it's just looking so pretty. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and we will see you in the next one. Bye.